Hello, this is weather briefing number 3 for aviation meteorology. My name is Peter, and let's get started. And first we'll look at the national conditions. And first we'll look at the surface analysis chart. Um, Nothing too special here. We've got highs and lows scattered all around. We've got a nice stationary front through the Midwest. Nothing in the Grand Forks area in terms of high or low pressure systems. It looks like we've got a cold front moving in. And nothing too crazy. We've got the troughs with the low pressure systems, and nothing too crazy on this chart. Next, we'll look at the low altitude chart, or the low level upper air analysis. We can see the contour lines. The winds aren't very high. Nothing too crazy here. We've got you could see a couple low pressure systems out in the western part of the United States. And move on to the mid-level, 10,000 feet. Again, winds not too strong, pressure pretty normal. And now for the upper level, now you're starting to see the jet stream moving from east to west in the northern United States, winds getting up to 30, 40, 50 knots. And now we'll take a look at the satellite. First we got the visible satellite. There are some clouds outside right now in Grand Forks, as there are in both of the Dakotas and in much of the western United States as well. Next we'll move on to the infrared satellite. Again, pretty much the same as the visible satellite, clouds up in eastern North Dakota and central North Dakota, in most of the western United States, Utah, Colorado, Arizona, Nevada, Wyoming, and New Mexico, and through other parts of the Midwest, like Chicago and Indiana as well. And next we'll move on to water vapor. The water vapor satellite. And it kind of shows the same thing as well. You can see a couple storms down in the west and in the south as well, and a little visible water in North Dakota. Next, move on to the radar. There's a couple, looks like, storms moving from western North Dakota through northern North Dakota right now. It doesn't look like there's any storms that are too severe. Looks like we've got some red, very high reflectivity in Missouri, and some in the southwest, but nothing too widespread or dangerous. Now move on to the convective outlook. Most of the United States, just general thunderstorms, marginal chance of severe storms in Missouri and in central North Dakota, getting pretty close to Grand Forks. Move on to SIGMETs. We've got quite a few SIGMETs, mostly thunderstorms and turbulence. Got a thunderstorm SIGMET in North Dakota and turbulence. All that is 45,000 feet and above though, so should not affect us here flying at UND. Move on to the G airmets. And again, we've got some moderate turbulence in western North Dakota from the Service to 8,000. We've got the freezing level coming through North Dakota at flight level 160. And we've got just other airmets around that aren't impactful to us, but we've got an icing SIGMET over Ohio and Indiana from flight level 160 to 260. And we've got an IFR estimate, clouds and precipitation in the western part of the United States. Now move on to the freezing level. Looks like the freezing level for most of the United States is from anywhere from 15,000 feet to 17,000 feet. Some areas scattered in a little lower at 13 and some scattered higher at 17,000 up to flight level 180. Now move on to the local conditions in Grand Forks. Here are the METARs as of 1:15 Zulu on July 15th, about 8:45, 7:45 local time. As you can see, most of the area is VFR, pretty warm temperatures, pretty high or pretty large temperature dew point spread, so not going to be too many low-level clouds. Most of the winds coming from the south, and winds are pretty light, anywhere from 5 knots to about 10 knots. And here's the satellite for the Minneapolis-St. Paul area. As you can see, clouds over us in most of eastern North Dakota. Nothing too much in Minnesota, Wisconsin, but we certainly have cloud cover here in Grand Forks. Next, move on to the radar for the Minneapolis-St. Paul area. As you can see, it looks like there's a line of thunderstorms moving in northern North Dakota that might impact us, but it looks like they'll be going over us. And that's about it for the radar. No other high reflectivity at all. And here's the single site radar for Grand Forks. Again, the thunderstorms in northern North Dakota, a couple severe thunderstorms, but pretty low reflectivity around Grand Forks and just north of us. Nothing that is too harmful. Here's the METAR for Grand Forks. Ceiling 25,000, altimeter pretty normal, and pretty calm winds, only 11 knots. Here's some pilot reports. There are no pilot reports within 200-300 miles of Grand Forks, so here's some turbulence reports that I pulled from the whole Minneapolis-St. Paul area. Nothing really affecting us. Same goes for icing. Nothing really affecting Grand Forks. And the same goes for IFR conditions. Nothing affecting our flying here. And we'll move on to the forecast conditions at the national level. Here's a service analysis chart valid from 1200 Zulu. Looks like the cold front that we mentioned earlier would have moved through Grand Forks. It's supposed to get pretty cooler than it has been. And that's the reason why. Here is the low-level prog chart. Only thing we might have to worry about is moderate greater turbulence, up to 9,000. And there's some spots of MVFR, but nothing in terms of the Grand Forks area. Here's the high-level prog. We've got the jet stream, looks like coming through, flight level 320, 360, and some spots of isolated abundant thunderstorms in the southwest and in the Midwest as well. Here's the convective outlook, 2-day outlook. Marginal chance of storms in Colorado and Indiana, but general storms everywhere else. And then the 3-day outlook, marginal chance in Wyoming and in Michigan, Ohio, and just general thunderstorms everywhere else, or nothing at all. Here are the GAIRMETS forecast. Nothing too crazy. IFR in the Midwest and just IFR on the coast, as there usually is. And here's the local forecast for Grand Forks. TAFs looks pretty VFR for most of the day tomorrow. Wind temp data, pretty normal at 6,000 we'll be flying, 320 at 26. Nothing too crazy. There's those Winsloft and Grand Forks blown up. And here's the general forecast for aviation, VFR conditions across the area. VFR conditions Yeah, all over eastern North Dakota. And here's the graphical forecast for aviation with just light winds. No thunderstorms, slight chance in the Midwest and the West, but nothing in North Dakota. And thanks for watching.